Hello students, in this video I am going to describe about the female reproductive system part 2. It come under the 12th class chapter human reproduction under the human physiology, especially it deals with fallopian tube at NEET level. Already female reproductive system part 1 I uploaded regarding ovaries. If you want to see, the link given in the description box. The golden point segment in our channel, I hope the regular viewers they know. The golden point segment is extracted from well reputed eminent NEET biology books. I extracted the various point I given as a juice to you. Come, let us go to that topic. First, let we think about the female reproductive system, the general point. What are the parts it consist of? This is a female reproductive system diagram. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviduct, and a single uterus. The lower part of the uterus is termed as cervix and vagina. In addition to that, external genitalia and mammary gland. Now we are going to discuss about this part, fallopian tube part. The fallopian tube have a lot of other name. It is generally called oviduct. It have otherwise called uterine tube. Why? Because it connected to uterus. And it otherwise called fertilization tube. Fertilization tube or fertilization canal, because the fertilization occurs inside the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tube developed from Mullerian duct of the embryo. Mullerian duct is a duct-like structure which is present on the embryo. And the female baby developed from the embryo. Each organ developed from the embryo, especially this fallopian tube developed from the Mullerian duct of the embryo. The fallopian tube supported by, it is attached to the pelvic wall, the hip wall, by the double membrane structure that is called mesosalpinx. It is a double fold of peritoneum. Each and every organ in the female reproductive system hold to peritoneal wall by a specialized structure, especially the fallopian tube attached to the pelvic wall by mesosalpinx. It's a double membrane structure of peritoneum. Suppose this fallopian tube is a part of the fallopian tube. This is a wall, body wall. This fallopian tube to body wall, it's attached by the peritoneum. That peritoneum is termed as mesosalpinx. Much more important word for the NEET point of view. Already we have discussed the ovary. The ovary attached to uterus wall as well as the pelvic wall, hip wall, by mesovarium. Don't forget, this is ovary part. See here itself the word come ovary, mesovarium. But this one mesosalpinx. This part mesovarium. This is termed as mesosalpinx. In the case of male, the testis attached to the pelvic cavity by the peritoneum, that is called mesorchium. Mesorchium. This is a testis in the case of male. Mesorchium. Mesosalpinx, mesovarium, mesorchium. Archium is a Greek word that means testis. From the three word, any one word, frequently they are asking from the NEET examination. Now let me see the function of fallopian tube. The fallopian tube performing two important functions. One is transfer of egg. During ovulation, that ovary release the egg. Consider this egg. That egg enter inside the fallopian tube. Inner wall of the fallopian tube have a lot of cilia-like structure. The cilia move the egg and it reach that part. So the first function, movement of transfer of egg from the ovary to uterus. From the ovary to uterus for non-pregnant women. And during menstrual cycle, the unfertilized egg come out through the vagina as a menses. For pregnant women, at the time of fertilization, the second function, the sperm enter inside the uterus and it reach the fallopian tube. Here, the ovum and the sperm fertilize with each other. So there are two important functions in the fallopian tube. Number one, it transfer of egg, and number two, it fertilizes the egg. It's a site of fertilization. So the function of fallopian tube, transfer of egg. Transfer of egg from ovary to uterus. That's the main function. Then it is a site for fertilization. So site for fertilization. Two important functions, transfer of egg and site for fertilization. Now the part of the fallopian tube, the terminal part of the fallopian tube. Terminal means the lateral part. The last part of the fallopian tube is termed as infundibulum. Infundibulum. This part is the infundibulum part. And I mean this part. Medial to the infundibulum, I mean previous part to the infundibulum is termed as ampulla. Ampulla part. This ampulla. And medial to the ampulla part, I mean the next to the ampulla part, this part is termed as isthmus. Isthmus. Number one, infundibulum part, this terminal part, the lateral part. Lateral part means right side and left side. Lateral part, last terminal lateral part is termed as infundibulum. Number two, previous part of the infundibulum is termed as ampulla part. In this ampulla part only the fertilization occurs, remember it. Then medial to the ampulla part, I mean the previous part of the ampulla part is called isthmus. This third part. Up to three part only given in your NCERT book, but actually fourth part also there. As I said, is the golden point segment which is extracted from the various reputed eminent books. The fourth part which is present inside the uterus part, see that uterus start from here. A little part of the fallopian tube which is present inside the uterus part. That part is the most medial part which is situated within the uterus, that is called intramural part. So fourth part, intramural part, otherwise called interstitial part. So there are four parts of the fallopian tube: infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus, intramural, otherwise interstitial part. The part of the fallopian tubes are number one, infundibulum, number two, ampulla, number three, isthmus, and number four, intramural or interstitial, otherwise called uterine part. Let me discuss one by one. First, let me discuss about infundibulum part. This is the infundibulum part. This is a lateral part. Lateral part means right side or left side. This two, right side and left side. So it is called lateral part. It's otherwise called terminal part of the fallopian tube. And it is a funnel shaped one. It's a funnel shaped one. And the terminal part of the infundibulum, terminal part of the fallopian tube is called infundibulum. Terminal part of the infundibulum have a many finger shaped structure. This finger shaped structure is termed as fimbriae. This finger shaped structure of the infundibulum is termed as fimbriae. This fimbriae is useful for collection of egg from the peritoneal cavity. This is an ovary. During ovulation, the ovary release egg. That egg collected by the fimbriae and sent into fallopian tube. Then, at most terminal end of the infundibulum have a opening or aperture. That opening, this opening is said to be, this opening are called abdominal ostium. Abdominal ostium. Through the abdominal, so infundibulum is a lateral or terminal part of the fallopian tube. It is a funnel shaped structure. In the terminal end of the infundibulum, it have a finger shaped structure. That finger shaped structure is termed as fimbriae. For example, this funnel shaped structure. This terminal end have a finger shaped structure. This finger shaped structure is termed as fimbriae. This fimbriae useful for collection of egg at the time of ovulation, and the terminal end of the fallopian tube, otherwise the infundibulum, have an opening. That opening is termed as abdominal ostium. These are all the point of infundibulum. Come, let me go to the second part of the fallopian tube, that is ampulla. So isthmus is a part medial to the ampulla. The part of the fallopian tube which is medial to the ampulla is termed as isthmus. Now the last part, the intramural part, is the most medial part. That means the last part of the fallopian tube. It has many names. Already I said intramural, otherwise interstitial, otherwise uterine part of the fallopian tube. And this part is situated within the uterus. It's a small part which is present inside the uterus. So it is termed as a uterine part. Now we are going to discuss about some of the general points which are related to the fallopian tubes. As we discussed earlier, fallopian tube is a site of fertilization. In order to a permanent birth control method, it's a kind of surgical removal of a portion of the fallopian tube cut, and the cut end is ligated. Ligated means joined, tied. That type of surgical removal of the part of the fallopian tube and the cut part is ligated. Such a type of birth control method is done in female, that is called tubectomy. And it's a permanent birth control method in female. That is both part. It's a fallopian tube, it's another fallopian tube. During tubectomy, both fallopian tube, a portion is removed and the cut end is ligated. This is a permanent birth control method in the female. This fallopian tube is a accessory duct or accessory sex organ in the female. That meaning of accessory duct or accessory sex organ means it transfers the egg from the ovary to uterus. That's why it is named as accessory duct. During ovulation, the ovary release the egg into peritoneal cavity. This cavity is termed as peritoneal cavity. This peritoneal cavity or coelomic cavity. That's why the human egg which is released into the peritoneal cavity, so it is said to be, the human egg is said to be coelomic egg, because the ovary release the egg into peritoneal cavity or coelomic cavity. That's why it is called coelomic egg. See this structure of ovary. During ovulation is a mature graphene follicle. During ovulation, the graphene follicle rupture and release the egg into cavity, coelomic cavity or peritoneal cavity. So that formed egg is said to be coelomic egg. Now slowly that egg enter inside the fallopian tube, which is collected by fimbriae. This is a fimbriae which is enter inside the fallopian tube and reach the ampulla part for the fertilization. The movement of egg within the fallopian tube by peristaltic wave action of the wall of the fallopian tube. So the egg reach the ampulla part for fertilization. The female infant at the time of birth, the ovary, female infant ovary have a lot of follicles. The small dot I mentioned, that's a follicles. Approximately 80,000 follicles are present in female infant at the time of birth. But slowly when the female child reach the maturation, puberty, at the time of puberty, most of the follicle cells become denatured. So at the time of puberty, the ovary, female ovary have only 400 mature ova. Only 400 mature ova. From 80,000 to 400, it reduced into 400. That means the many follicles become degenerated. The degenerated follicles are said to be atretic follicles. That is termed as a degenerated follicles. So the fallopian tube is otherwise called accessory duct or accessory sex organ. And students, why I am doing simultaneously diagrammatic explanation as well as the points. Why I am showing the points? Some of the students asking me to copy our points. So these points highly helpful to you at the time of examination because it's a golden point segment. These points and all which is extracted from various biology reputed book. So if you note it down, it is highly helpful for you students at the time of NEET preparation. Just if you go through that, it is enough. Why it is said to be the accessory duct or accessory sex organ means within the fallopian tube only the egg, female egg transfer. So it is transfer of female gamete egg. During ovulation, the ova, egg, from the ovary released into peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity, otherwise called coelomic cavity. Generally, we are calling as that spot is a coelom, coelomic cavity. That's why the human egg is termed as coelomic egg. The human egg is termed as a coelomic egg. It's much more important point, students. And egg is collected by fimbriae from the coelomic part. The egg is collected from the peritoneal cavity by fimbriae of the infundibulum, and slowly it transfers the egg into ampulla part. It reaches the ampulla part for the fertilization. How it reaches the ampulla part? No? By two action. One is inside the fallopian tube, cilia is present. Then peristaltic wave. Peristaltic wave and cilia movement make the egg to reach the fallopian tube. Here I did not mention. Please note it down. At the time of birth, the female infant has the ovary. Ovary has approximately 80,000 follicles. Each ovary have 80,000 follicles at the time of birth. Slowly what happened? The number of follicles become degenerated. The number of follicles become degenerated. So at birth, the female infant ovary have 80,000 follicles. But at puberty, the ovary has only 400 mature ova. Each ovary have only 400 mature ova. So from 80,000 to 400, it is reduced. That means it's degenerated. So the remaining undergo degenerated. The degenerated follicles are called atretic follicles. Atretic follicles. Students, now we are going to discuss about histology of fallopian tube. Histology means the wall of the fallopian tube made up of 3 layers of muscles. That study of muscles or muscular structure is termed as histology. The outermost layer of the fallopian tube, which I mentioned it's a purple color, that is termed as perimetrium. Perimetrium. Perimetrium have many names, serosa or adventitia or visceral peritoneum. The middle layer, that orange color part, as I mentioned, that middle layer of the fallopian tube is made up of unstriped muscle layer. It is termed as unstriped muscles layer. The innermost layer, it's much more important in the fallopian tube for the functional point of view. The innermost layer is a mucosa membrane. Mucosa membrane, the green color part is termed as a mucosa membrane. That mucosa membrane made up of the special type of epithelium, that is ciliated simple columnar epithelium. Ciliated simple columnar epithelium. It have many cilia inside. That cilia useful for the movement of egg from the infundibulum to ampulla part, so that within the ampulla part the fertilization occurs. For the fertilization occurs with the movement of egg, that cilia is much more important. So there are 3 layers present in the fallopian tube. Outermost layer perimetrium, middle layer unstriped muscle, the innermost layer mucosa, which is made up of ciliated simple columnar epithelium. Histology of fallopian tube. The fallopian tube wall made up of 3 layers of muscles. Let me see that one by one. The outermost layer is termed as perimetrium. Perimetrium, otherwise called serosa, or it have another term termed as adventitia, otherwise visceral peritoneum. visceral peritoneum. The middle layer of the fallopian tube is made up of unstiped muscles. The much more important one, the inner layer. The inner layer of the fallopian tube is made up of, it is a mucosa membrane. That mucosa membrane made up of ciliated, simple, columnar epithelium layer. This cilia is a small hair-like structure. This cilia movement only make the transfer of egg from the peritoneal cavity to ampulla part. And students, in this video, maximum all the point related to fallopian tube I have described, and I assured you that after seeing this video, you can attend any type of questions asked from the NEET exam related to fallopian tube. For example, just I will show the one question which is a NEET question related to fallopian tube. The question asked from the NEET exam 2010, preliminary exam 2010. The part of the fallopian tube closest to the ovary is option A, isthmus, option B, infundibulum, option C, cervix, option D, ampulla. I hope with the help of this video you might have find the answer. See that the part which is closest to the ovary. See, I will show this pictures. This part of the fallopian tube. It's a fallopian tube. There are 4 parts. This part, infundibulum, and this part, ampulla part. This isthmus part. This is intramural part. The question is, which is the part which is near to the ovary. This is a ovary which is near to the ovary. This is called infundibulum. So the option, the correct answer is the part of the fallopian tube closest to the ovary is, the correct option is option B, infundibulum is the answer. I hope this video highly helpful to you for the NEET aspirants, and this video completely a free educational video. The viewers, please share to the NEET aspirant, and thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel.